going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, welcome. What a wonderful rainy wet Wednesday as we invite you, or as we say in West Bay, we invite you to be a part of our discussion. We're going to start off focusing some great things with a good friend from the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and Heritage, Ms. Ventisha Conley. I can tell you about events on Friday and Saturday. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email Talk Today at candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow, Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome. Thanks for joining us. And as I look to my left and I see another stalwart of our civil servants exhibiting that element of public service that inculcates an ethos that says, you know what, we're about serving our country in the best way. So, Ms. Ventisha Conley, thank you very much. How are you?
I'm good, Sterling. Good afternoon to the listening public. Good afternoon to Grand Cayman, but especially good afternoon to my folks over in the Sister Islands, Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
You think if I were to go over there over the next couple of days that it'll be okay?
Yeah.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. No, can't tell you if you could actually get on a flight because this is Christmas time and Cayman Airways has been booked since summer.
Yeah. I have a friend who has a boat. Mr. McCoy, are you going?
If you don't mind that little 3 hour boat ride.
Well, we could throw the line, make it a little bit longer.
True.
When we get there, we might catch a little. I mean, that could work, huh?
No, I could.
No, man. I say that because you're so right in thinking of that. That's the celebration that we have in the Cayman Islands. And even though each district or each island can have its sort of unique flavor and fare, we should enjoy what is, Christmas.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to, 22nd, 23rd when I head back over to the Sister Islands for a much needed break at home.
Yeah.
Like sleeping in my own bed for consecutive days, eating from my mama's pot for consecutive days.
Oh, man.
Being in my district for consecutive days, not this back and forth that I've been doing.
And thank you for reminding us of what is so important about the family, the food, the fellowship.
Christmas is all about, I mean, growing up in this Caymanian culture, Christmas was all about family. It wasn't about traveling, and it wasn't about, being out and whatnot. It was about getting together as family, good or bad, whether you liked them or not. It was that time where all the differences were put aside. You came together as a family. You celebrated as a family. You cherished that you've made it through another year and looking forward to a new one.
I'm so glad, because I've had that conversation with many people as to why I feel the way I feel about Christmas. And it's not about the gifts. The food, yeah, but it's not about the gifts.
Well, don't tell that to my nieces and nephews because they would tell you different.
This is an adult show. Children are not listening. And it's not about the gifts that we receive. It's about the gifts that we give. Yeah. Right? Maybe I should have spoken a little faster.
Exactly.
But I want to set it up, right? And to see the joy on our children's faces, our own children, our nieces and nephews, the children in the community. And, for us, giving, and sometimes the giving was you bake something that you don't bake often through the year. You get it at a special time. And if I might ask, as you said, I found Christmas to be that time, just like you shared, where two individuals who may be at odds, the business rivals, their adversaries in some way, this is my nemesis, they'll say, whatever, they're put aside just for a couple of days, and they were cordial and civil. I've witnessed that. You just shared it.
Yeah.
Is that really true?
It is.
Okay.
I mean, at least growing up, that is what I was used to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the atmosphere that I still try to put out there. Not saying that, I have an arch nemesis or whatever.
You don't? I see a cape. Come on, every superhero has a nemesis. We'll get you one.
That's all right. But, it's making sure that my generation knew that, and this new generation that we have in our families, these younger kids understand that same way of life. Yeah. So
can I ask two of the things that I've taken to be truisms?
Sure.
At Christmas, no matter where you are, I'm sure it's the same with everybody, but I can only speak to Caymanians. If you're not in Cayman, you want to be home. And if you're on Grand Cayman, but your neighbor strings the back,
you going home.
You want to go home.
You going home.
You're still home, but you want to be home. Or do your mama pot playing in your backyard and whichever, right? So is that true?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Here's something that I've always maintained. And the older I get, that's a song. So is that song, Alan Jack and Let It Be Christmas? Right. We sing that after. You're a great singer, you come from the singing stock. Here's the other truism, at least in my mind. At Christmas, everybody wanted to be home, as we said. It's the food, the fun, and fellowship. We put aside whatever petty differences we have, however material they may have been throughout the business year, to be cordial and civil. And as a consequence, very few of us, no matter how much money we love, wanted to be working from a couple of days before Christmas to a couple of days after New Year.
Very true.
I remember working. I know I look really young, thank God. Good genes, But working where a few, I guess, in the sector, the insurance, the law firms, we'll go on skeletal staff. And I've repeated this because some of us my age have forgotten it. And there was a reason for that. And as a consequence, I say this half joking, when I become governor, that's going to be the law. I'm going to impose that unilaterally. Because I remember working just before my daughter was born in an organization where, for whatever reason, the lady at the helm, work was work. The more she worked, the more she made, the more she worked, the more she... And our office here, our offices across the globe, nobody wanted to do anything. Very little got done, but we had to be at work. And I thought, that was the first time I experienced that. On Grand Cayman and other offices, people were, my words, a go slow. Right? You attended to things that were essential. Emails were just coming into the world of work. But the telephone rarely rang. The post never, wasn't that urgent.
Yeah.
But here we are. We want to work. So when I become, that could be the law. We'll give it a name. Maybe we'll call it the Ventisha Conlon Law. No. I got a better name for it.
But you're right, because what we've seen, even in the U.S., is that businesses are looking at the fact that, Thanksgiving and Christmas are times when all of their workers should be home with their family, because that's a time of family and togetherness. I think this Thanksgiving, I heard someone say to me that they went up for, the usual Black Friday shopping and stuff like that. But Walmart and the different major stores were closed for the morning part of it for the fact that, it was Thanksgiving and they wanted their employees to not be at work, but to be with their families.
Yeah, man. Some of my friends from, around the globe, we'll take a break in a second because this sets up nice to what we're going to talk about. I know you got to go back to work. I'm already here. For our listeners, it'll be open line after Miss Ventisha leaves. If she'll sing for us, I'll join her.
Okay, you need to call Maxine and Lil K Man sing.
No. We can't afford to pay her. I mean, a little with her phenomenal vocal talent, I know she'll do it for free. Actually, have a friend call her and maybe she'll call in.
She probably listening. So.
You just gave me an idea. I'm going to ask people to sing for me to get... you sure you don't want to change jobs just for a minute?
No.
All right, let's take a break because in your company, I'm reminded of how wonderful and rich our heritage is, how important, especially this time of year, to be mindful of the blessings that we have.
Yes.
And, even the losses that we feel and the sadness that we have, there's still joy because we have that cherished memory.
Yes.
We also have those people still in our lives. And as enemies have put aside their differences for a few days to enjoy themselves, why can't we do that too? All right, we're going to pause and take a break. When we come back, wonderful presence of a phenomenal civil servant to tell us about two events from one end of Grand Cayman to the next, from one Friday to the Saturday. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have our very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Are you planning a social, an office party, or event over the holiday season? Make the most of your holiday party and leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway Box to Go with the option of a 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. Cater your holiday parties with Subway. Visit subway.ky for menu options. Subway, eat fresh.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments from December 11th through the 16th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.porterkman@gmail.com or call 949-9020 to book your appointment today. That's 946-9020.
If you're seeking a bargain on clothes and other household goods, stop by the garage sale at 137 Katura Street off Walkers Road, December 11th through 15th from 12 to 5 p.m. Designer items from Louboutin, stilettos, Burberry handbags, tube tops and pants, microwave and kitchenware, tables and bar stools, and lots of $1 items. 5 yards of landfill for only $400. 137 Katura Street off Walkers Road or call 925-2705.
A house isn't a home without the perfect furnishings and decor. At Robert Wood Furniture and Design, we have everything your home deserves. Shop now for incredible store-wide savings up to 50% off on sofas, beds, dining tables, and chairs. Or ask about our custom furnishing options and interior design services. Find the perfect gift ideas with accent pillows and vases starting at just $10. Lamps as low as $20. Whether it's kitchen and bathroom remodeling to flooring and window treatments, lighting, fans, furniture, and home decor, Robert Wood Furniture and Interiors has all you need this Christmas. Visit our website, robertwoodky.com. Like, follow, and share our page on Facebook and Instagram, Robert Wood Furniture and Interiors, or swing by our store at Cayman Center, Owen Roberts Drive. Wishing everyone a Merry Christmas and a prosperous and healthy New Year.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And as we speak to Miss Vintage Chacon, I should have asked earlier because I know you wear many hats, not just within, your public employee within a government service, but even in the community. And as you share, I almost can see, now be careful because I think you're very much deserving of another bonus and a raise as doing our civil servants. This isn't as much work and energy and sacrifice and time that you got put into doing stuff. This almost isn't as work because it's a passion. It's an extension of you.
Yeah, so you're very much true.
I want to lay on this end in a way, okay?
I do just as much for my job as I do for the community. I'm very passionate about my Spot Bay community in Cayman Brac. But each community, even here in Grand Cayman, if someone reaches out and says, we need help, can you help us with this? Can you help us with that? As much as I can, I try to. Being a member, a former member of the Lions Club, even now they still reach out, and it isn't anything for me to say, sure, I'll help.
I was looking at something earlier, and sometimes some people are in a space, mental and physical, and they share something with you, and in and of itself, it may be a good thing. I'm not too fond of videos. I don't like it in my eyes. I rather read it, much easier, right? And not read on the screen, read on paper. But that is said. So I look at the video and I say, man, I would love to have seen a transcript of this because it would have been easier to dissect it. I listen to it. The guy's blabbering on. My first thinking is, okay, what's this guy? Where is his expertise, experience? Where is he coming from? And why is this sent to me? Where is this person? Is there an ulterior motive, right? It's like when we go to church and the scriptures used to beat us up, right? But that doesn't happen in your church. That doesn't happen in yours. Okay. And in saying that, as I was listening and recognizing that we give of ourselves and we sacrifice, not because we look in validation and approval, it's because we can. Yes, people may take advantage and walk over, but you know what? We're doing it because it needs to be done. And like you do it with a willing heart.
Well, and not only that, we do it with a willing heart and so on and so forth, but that's how we were brought up. That's the heritage that we have with us, because my grandmother and my mother and your mom and dad and those, it was all about helping others. My grandmother and whatnot, you couldn't bring a friend over without her feeding them before they left, putting something together if they didn't want to eat while they were there so they could take with them.
Yep.
Making sure that they were treated the same way she would treat her husband and her children, her grandchildren. And if somebody came and said they needed help, whether it was, sweeping the yard or moving something, we all pitched in.
Yeah.
So that ethos of being each other's keeper is how we were brought up.
Yeah, and it's the thing that I think some people mistake. Even Caymanians now, they see it as, they take advantage of me. They
can't take advantage of a willing heart.
Yeah, there you go. You do because you want to and because you can.
Yeah, I mean, no. Someone says, no is a sentence within itself, and there are times when you have to look at something and say, that's not right for me to do. Maybe I need to say no, and it's all fine and well. But if someone asks for help and you don't get that apprehension from the jump, then you're always gonna be that person that they come to, because you're a safe space. You have a willing heart, and they know that they can turn to you.
And you do it in a sense of respect and confidence. It's not a photo op. It's not.
Oh, Lord, no.
You're doing it for this person to remind them that you did it for them, so they owe you. And I think many times, yes, it may be an inconvenience for you to leave East End, drive West Bay to bring them back to town for argument's sake, right? But you do it. And I have a friend, I know you know him well. He'll do that in a heartbeat, right? They'll even fly over in the back to come get you if necessary. They'll do that at expense of their time and their money and whichever, but they do it. There's no expectation.
Exactly. I mean, and that's the thing that, like I was saying, we grew up without expecting pay, without expecting a favor back, without expecting something in return. That art of giving without receiving is how we grew up, and that's what we have to get back to, especially at Christmas time.
Man, you brought me back to what I was going to ask you. The reason why I have this view, and as each Christmas passes and I'm, sufficiently gifted to be a part of it, it cements in my mind why I feel that way. If, as an analogy, many people during the global imprisonment, everybody's under house arrest. Some people struggled.
I loved it.
Right? Some people had time on their hands that they could write, they could read, they could do to the projects that they. And some people, made a mess of their houses because they had nothing to do and they renovated, right? But they had time to think and to do, and it was very productive. Christmas, we are if we are so busy, going like any and every other day, then nothing is different. We can't be introspective, we can't be pensive, we can't be reflective, we can't be helpful. So if you had that, sort of 2 week, you get to be grounded, you get energized, and when you go back into the working world or to your normally scheduled life, you have that momentum.
Yes.
Right. I had a team working for me way back when, back in the days when let's phrase that differently. And I told them, this is your vacation, right? But at this time of year, we close an office. This is it. And they understood that. One guy didn't believe it. I said, well, that's up to you. But when Christmas comes in, doesn't matter how long you've been working. That's a break, right? They could do anything in a day. They get paid. They get their regular time. But they also got that time off. And there should be nothing that should happen that require them to have to go to work, right?
I agree with you.
And it was to me, it was important. Whether you wanted to travel, whether you want to go out barcasting camp, whatever you want to do.
Yes.
Right? All right. So that's kind of brings me where we're going in East End on, on Saturday evening. Right? But then as I think about the Cayman, collection center opening on Friday, they almost go hand in hand.
Yes. That's the beauty of the projects and the events that we do in the ministry.
Yeah.
One always is able to complement the other. So, like you said, we're moving from one end of the island to the next. We start in West Bay on Friday. We move to East End on Saturday. We celebrate the heritage through artifacts on Friday. And we're celebrating our heritage through song on Saturday.
Yeah. And sort of anchoring, because from West Bay to East End, you got on Grand Cayman, you got the districts in between, right? And if we have much of our history that is recorded, if we have the artifacts that you shared, it's, as we're told, many national collections, you only see a little bit at a time and the rest are preserved. But if you have more of those little bits available for public viewing, then you get a chance of saying, look what we have. How can we do this? So it's Friday. Now it's the former motor museum right near the Turtle Center, the Turtle Farm. I hope people
Turtle Center.
Yeah. I hope people, I call them our culture the other day. And it's nothing other of a strong sense of pride and respect, because this facility has served as a great body of knowledge internationally on its research with turtles and breeding.
And it's been the catalyst for other turtle centers, other wildlife preserves around the world.
Yep. Look at the one in Florida.
Exactly.
I mean, this is where it's come from.
So.
And yet we downplay it.
We have a habit of downplaying our significance. But that's a whole nother conversation.
No, we won't go there. But all I would say is that, I won't ask for forgiveness and I won't offer an apology when I say the word is Cayman. That's how we say it. When a dish that is cooked by Caymanians as representative of a Caymanian dish, doesn't mean it's not reinterpreted by others, doesn't mean it is similar to something else. But if it has this ingredient and this ingredient and this ingredient, it must have that. If it has whatever else it has, don't conflict the two. You can't add this to that and call it, no. And that's not to be offensive. It's not offered with an apology. It's a reminder, right? If your name is George and I call you Mike and you don't correct me, I'll never know the difference, right? You can choose to correct me in however way, but how would I know?
Yeah.
So
we could talk all day. We could talk all day about everything under the sun. Well, but yes, so Friday, the Cayman Collection Center is 90% put together. It is so beautiful inside there to walk through and see the different sections with the artifacts that you forgot about. Like I was telling you about the telecommunications display. I went in there today and they're almost finished putting things in on pedestals and in display cases and stuff like that. And I forgot that when we first started with the telephone, it was this huge giant box that you would plug aux cables in. And there's one there. So, to see the evolution that we've gone through, not just worldwide, but here in Cayman, because that's how we started too. And to see the variations of catboats and different things that are in there, it is going to be a beautiful.
And I think this is timely. We hopefully will have friends and family visiting.
Yes.
We hopefully will make time.
Yes.
Right? Because we have time, we just need to meet. And take ourselves and take members of our family and our friends and our co-workers and make it, a pass through.
Yes.
I don't anymore. I still love to go to the National Gallery at different times, and it was quiet usually. And I'll walk through. And then when they did, the little piece at the back that some of us would call a maze, and we might know it's a labyrinth. There's a difference. I've learned it. And, even if it's somewhere it's hot, it allowed you to catch your breath for a second. And you walk upstairs in a national collection and you see things. And a mind like mine would ask, well, why is that there? And what is it? And then why not this and so on? But if you don't know and you don't go and you don't show, how are you going to grow?
Exactly. So yes. So the collection, like I said, the National Museum has some 12,000 artifacts, and they keep collecting stuff from persons.
People. No, I got correct. I mean, you had a discussion, right?
Yes, from people.
There you go.
Up until today, actually, we just had a donation from Nikolai Ugland.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that I need to get out here at 2:00 and go meet him and collect. And so it's a collection that's ever growing. Yeah. And so we want to make sure that all 12,000 pieces over the next few years, however long it takes us to get those pieces out of storage and get the light shown on them, get people to see them, because they are an important part of our heritage and what we were and who we are going to become.
Yeah, and this is not just important to respect and reflect on our history. It's not about posterity and legacy. It's about embracing the now.
Yes.
All right? And if you don't cook with your mother or your father now while they can, it's not just a memory that you lose or will cherish if you have. It's the experience that you'll get.
Yes.
Honing your skill from an expert. All right? And so Friday, 1 p.m. is when
starting
it starts?
at 1 p.m. So one thing I want to say so everybody knows is that parking for the space, because the area is quite small.
Yeah.
So parking for the space is going to be in the Turtle Center's parking lot. We'll have someone there to direct people where to park, and then we'll have bus shuttles. We'll take people from the parking lot there to the center and back. So starting from 12:30, people can show up, can park, and get shuttled over to the center. We're going to promptly start at 1:00. Mainly due to the fact that the minister and other members of cabinet and members of parliament are going to take their lunch break to be there for the opening at 1:00. So I'm going to be not on Cayman time.
No, I'll correct you again. Go ahead, but finish your thought. I'll correct. And the reason why I'm doing this is very conscious because it's part of our thing, right? So my household and the household of many, when they say the time, no matter they're going fishing or not, it was on time. We are allowing ourselves to adopt this thing that maybe. No.
There's no Cayman time that's happening on Friday. No. I'm promptly starting at 1:00. I will be on the mic welcoming everyone.
Yeah.
And get started. The program for the opening is going to be short and sweet because of the need for the parliamentarians to get back to Parliament for budget. So I would invite everyone to start, please, showing up, 12:30 to get bussed over. Once the opening is done and we've cut the ribbon and opened the place, they can either go in, do a tour of the place, or grab some refreshments that we're going to have there. I know it's over people's lunch hour. I'm going to have fried fish and fritters, as well as some other food, because I know not everybody eats fried fish and fritters.
Well, I have this share. And some hot pepper sauce.
I'll have hot pepper sauce there for you. So we'll have fish and fritters, swanky, water, refreshments for people to have there, and then they can take their tour and sit down in fellowship until 3:30, and then get the shuttle back to their car and leave. So
I'm hoping that despite it being, as you said, that time of day, that people will come over and they'll see it and they'll return. For those who can't make it for some reason, that they'll come again, especially over Christmas. And not just take their children and grandchildren, not just take their partners, but come and look at it. You'll be amazed. I've seen some of the things over the years when you're trying to help volunteer and they'll move something, you have to be so careful. You didn't get to see it properly, but you heard what it was. Now you can get to see it properly displayed, curated. Wow.
So, and if anybody's watching, they saw me on my phone just a minute ago. That was my chief officer, Miss Teresa Echeniki. I figured I knew why she was calling because she heard me on the radio, and she wants to remind me that another aspect that we are putting into that museum is a Cayman memory wall. So what we want and what I'll launch on Monday is asking people to send us photos of persons that they know that are in their lives, that were in their lives, that had some prominence in our Caymanian heritage, whether they worked in the community or they were, a big politician or whoever, but, family members who they felt helped to build our culture and heritage. So we have a wall down at the museum that is going to be slated as the Cayman Memory Wall. So we'll ask people to upload a photo, give us some details on the person, and then we're going to start in January building that wall and adding to it. It's going to be an ongoing project. Yeah. So more will come out. We'll probably do a press release to let everyone know exactly the type of persons that we're looking for. But we want to make sure that we don't lose that connection to our history, to our heritage. We continue to write our story because that's the only way we're going to tell it properly.
And you've implied it, but it's also on all 3 islands. So
yes. And that's why when we first thought about it, we were like, we can tell people to just bring a photo. And I said, no. We're going to do this that people anywhere, because it's not just all 3 islands, because there are some Caymanians who don't live here anymore. Right. But someone in their family had some significance in building this nation. Yeah. And we may not remember it, but they may. Yeah. So they can stay in England or the US or Canada or wherever they are, upload that photo for us, give us the details, and have that person be put on the wall. Rightly so, well deserved. Well, as we reflect and respect them, we recognize the importance of her, continued contributions to not just preserving but promoting. So we got Friday, and then of course on Saturday evening, 6 p.m. at the East End Heritage Field, right? I'll tell people about it, remind them. Yes. So Saturday, it's our 2nd annual Cayman Christmas, and it's our 2nd annual choir competition. That's the big entertainment factor of the night. All right, East End Heritage Field. On Saturday then. Yes. We have 2 divisions in the choir competition. It's the youth and the adult. At this point, I'm going to make a plea to any adult choir or group that wants to come out and be a part of it. Please give me a call, 926-0633. Come and join us, because right now the youth section is packed. I mean, I have to give hats off to the schools. Even though it's the day after school is finished, they are still coming out because they see the significance, not just of winning a prize, but giving their students the ability to showcase their talents. Because I know Christmas programs have been happening all week, but if my child isn't going to Joanna Clark Primary, I'm not going to go and watch their Christmas program. But if Joanna Clark Primary brings their choir to this event, everybody sees it. And those children get the recognition for the work they've put in. Yeah. So I see you looking at the clock, so we got to take a break. we can take a break and come back. Okay. Try us out, sir.
It's game time, Subway fans. We're upping our sub game with the all-new Subway Series menu, an all-star lineup of 6 delicious recipes. Just order by name or number and we'll do the rest. Whether you're catching a quick lunch or just need a tasty victory, the Subway Series menu is coming in clutch. Subway Series, easy to order, hard to resist. Try it today, only at Subway. Eat fresh.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles until December 31st, 2023. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Happy holidays and Merry Christmas. 'Tis the season to be merry and healthy in the Cayman Islands. At Doctors Hospital and Integra Healthcare, we're not just a hospital and clinic with a talented group of local and international healthcare professionals. We're your partners in well-being throughout the year. So may your holidays be filled with the soothing sounds of the ocean, the embrace of good health, and a commitment to a healthier tomorrow. From all of us at Doctors Hospital and Integra Healthcare, we wish you and your loved ones happy holidays and a wonderful new year.
South Coast Bar and Grill up in Breakers, man, that is the place. For traditional Cayman cuisine, oh, you will love the taste. At South Coast Bar and Grill, we got conch and lobster and turtle stew. And every Sunday, come out with your family for the barbecue.
South Coast Bar and Grill by the seaside, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily, lunch and dinner. Call us at 947-2517.
For Cayman and cuisine, the talk today is South Coast Bar and Grill.
Start your day in the know. Don't miss a beat. Radio Cayman's 7 a.m. news keeps you informed every Monday through Saturday at 7 a.m. Brought to you by Cayman National, proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974.
Hey! This Christmas is all about you. Yeah, boy. Flowing's the joy and better value.
With daily prizes of iPhones, iPads, laptop, and gift vouchers this Christmas when you sign up for broadband. Pay your bill on time and in full, or activate a 30-day prepaid plan.
This Christmas is all about you. I'm telling you, boy. Flow brings the joy and better value.
Flow, connecting hearts and homes this Christmas. Visit discoverflow.co for more details. Conditions apply.
Flow brings the joy and better value.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. Sister Islands Customs and Border Control Service reminds the public and importers of their obligations when importing goods. The increase in the volume of air cargo requires importers to make a concerted effort to clear their goods without delay. Importers are required to submit an import entry declaration, complete the import entry process, and collect their goods promptly from either the CBC office or the Cayman Airways cargo office at the Charles Kirkconnell International Airport. For assistance, contact Sister Islands CBC 948-1310 or Sister Islands CBC headquarters at 649-4579 and press 8. In international news, nations at the UN Climate Summit have for the first time taken explicit aim at the use of fossil fuels. The talks in Dubai came close to collapse, but in a dramatic turnaround, nations agreed to transition away from coal, oil, and gas. But small islands hit hard by climate change protested, saying the deal was rushed through without them, and it departed from earlier stronger language to phase out fossil fuels. Andre Braugher, the star of Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Homicide: Life on the Street, has died aged 61 following a brief illness. Braugher often portrayed police officers during his career, performing both in dramatic and comedic roles. He won 2 Emmy Awards from a total of 11 nominations across his career for his roles in Homicide and Thief. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
It's one of the best moments of your life when you welcome your baby into the world. The HSA's experienced women's health and maternity team provides the highest quality of care throughout your pregnancy and delivery. As a JCI accredited hospital, we are the leader in maternal care, safely delivering over 700 babies annually. Visit hsa.ky for more information. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Born in Creek, Cayman Brac on the 25th of September 1939, Henry Mansfield Connolly was the third of 8 children for Henry Kitchener and Olive Connolly. Following a 30-year career with National Bulk Carriers, he was one of few Brackers who worked with Cayman Energy Company doing the ship-to-ship oil transfers off the island in the 1980s. Following a medical injury, he retired from sea and started his own plumbing engineer company, C&H Plumbing, which he owned for 16 years. Prior to relocating to Grand Cayman, he was a volunteer during hurricane emergencies, assisting with the safety of the elderly in his district. Mr. Connolly was one of the original band members of the famous Brac Beach Boys, a member of the Sister Islands Veterans and Seamen Society, and also a member of the Seafarers Association on Grand Cayman. In 2003, he was one of 500 Seamen Medal honorees for their contribution to the Southwell years.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And you see, not only because of her gifting for conversation, but her passion for our culture, Miss Ventisha Connolly, I appreciate you, Sharon, and the invitation, and perhaps the endeavor to ensure that as a people we see this opportunity both for the opening on Friday for the Cayman Collection and for the Cayman Christmas, in East End at the Heritage Field. Not just the choir, but the fellowship, they're coming together. I know you've got other things on. I thank your team over there and the chief officer in particular for being so proud of you and feeling so confident that they can send you to represent
I know
the ministry.
they sent me to talk on the radio about stuff.
But they send you to be with me, so I mean it's not that bad.
6 1 half dozen the other.
You say your best, I came back. Must be the same. 6 1/2 dozen.
6 1 half dozen the other.
All right. Okay, so we got a wonderful youth contingent and all of
Yes.
that, right? For the East End, 6 p.m. on the Heritage Field, Saturday.
Yes. So what I want is I want to put it out there to the adult population. I want to have some of those church choirs. I want to have groups of people who sing very well together, and I know there are groups that sing very well together.
Oh, that has to be a criteria. Because I was thinking I could put together a Radio Cayman choir. Miss Norma could lead it.
Well, I mean, Paulette and Susan can sing, can lead.
You
just be background music.
Well, you know what? So you saying? Okay, so you gotta sing well together.
Yes, and it has to be Christmas songs.
Okay, I can live with that.
So you can do Away in a Manger.
But can I do the bell? Maybe
Maybe it's just how you present yourself.
I can dress and comb my hair. Yeah, that's the way.
So Cayman Christmas celebration of culture and music. Saturday the 16th, East End Heritage Park, starting at 6 p.m. We're going to have a marketplace there. So our craft artisans will have a space there. You can go and buy those last minute Christmas gifts from them for whoever. I love to have my artisans there. They don't just have things that they're selling that, they have a lot of the stuff that they're selling as artisans are handmade. And that's one thing we're trying to do in the ministry, is having a lot of our artisans at almost every one of our events to have their handmade, their homemade stuff that offers some significance for us. So there'll be a whole craft market section there with craft artisans and vendors. And then we'll, of course, what's a celebration without food? I know you were waiting on it. I knew you were waiting on it.
I mean, it is lunch time for some of us, you know.
It is.
But I mean, there's always time for food for all of us.
There's always time for food. So we're going to have full complement of, local foods, local dishes, desserts. I know there's 1 or 2 people doing natural juices. So full complement there. The one thing we are going to do, though, and it's just for the kids, is we're going to offer food for the kids free.
Okay.
So snow cone, cotton candy, hamburgers, hot dogs. East End Parent Teachers Association will be manning that booth, and it is just for the children. Yeah,
and that, when we talk about giving, that's the spirit of giving.
Yes.
Right. The children come along, and it's to invite them.
Yeah.
There's nothing like breaking bread, right? And they come out and they be a part of that, and the parents can know they're amongst family and community.
Yeah.
And Christmas and choirs, and they go
hand in hand.
Yeah.
So, like I said, there'll be free food for the kids. We'll have the choir competition. And then while the judges are deliberating and figuring out which choir was the best choir, we're going to move very briefly over to the George Dixon Park, which is right across the street. Yeah. And the minister is going to say a few words, and then we're going to light up the park.
Yeah.
He's got his community volunteers have been working since last week to put lights on trees and put up the different decorations in the George Dixon Park to make it look and be a part of their community and be inviting.
Here's a thought I just had, and sometimes to me, you go to East End, you may as well go for the night and spend the weekend. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And I know I mentioned later, but Mr. Don McLean is, sponsoring me later on after this, because this goes just until, 9 p.m. Right? While you're there, you may as well stay and join down on them and have fun. But there may be some accommodations up there, friends and family, some of the, the hotels, and spend the night, man.
Yep.
You can still get up early and catch your church service. And the pastor will forgive you if you look at the red eyed, You saw it in East End. He's like, yeah, me too.
Yeah. So once the judges are deliberating, we'll move over to the park. We'll light up the Christmas park, and then we'll come back over, find out who the winners are. I can tell y'all.
Yeah.
Red Bay Primary, who was the winners in the inaugural sing choir competition, have called and said, is a 52-man choir too much? I'm sorry, 52 what? That's a whole...
That's like 4 classes.
And so I said to the acting principal, Mr. Dale, I said, no. I said, as much choir, if you want to have that be 1 choir or 3 choirs, you can have, because when they... And then that's what I love about the schools and the camaraderie that they build. It's, we have to come out, we have to represent. Yes, it's the day after school has closed, but it's the pride that goes back to saying when January comes around and they come back into school, that first assembly is announcing that we won this again.
But it's also, too, as you shared earlier, Mr. Teacher, that school may have a function. It's Christmas, production. And because of the demands on everybody and the schedule, they can only have it at a certain time, at a certain place, with a certain capacity. And you may not be able to attend, even if you wanted to, even if you were connected. But here, if that school is now at East End and being a part of it, then the wider community gets at least a preview, a sampling of that school. So Miss Pat and them over there at 52.
52. Wow. I said, okay. And then I had Joanna Clark call and say, we're bringing ours too. I said, oh. Wow. That sounds good. And East End Primary, they're coming with theirs. And even the private schools, I've got Cayman Prep. So,
that's what Christmas is about. And
that's what I love, is that feeling of being together.
Yeah. Well,
And so, after we declare the winners, what would be a celebration at Christmas without fireworks? So at 9:00, hopefully, we are going to end the night there with a little firework display, courtesy of Eastenda himself.
The Lord Mayor of East End?
The Lord Mayor of East End, Mr. Graham Rankin. He can blast me when my phone might ring before we leave him.
If you give you trouble, you call me and I have a...
So I made the West Bay a deal with the East Ender.
No, I'll send somebody to talk to him.
So yeah, it's going to be a wonderful night. We will have, seating areas. We'll have a photo booth. You can come out and take Christmas photos. Again, the park is going to be lit up. So we want to draw families, bring families together. That is one of the main focuses for our Christmas events.
I thank you and the team and the ministry, but all the volunteers and all the vendors and all, because this is about celebration and the fact that, school officially ends on Friday, but this is just sort of for them, a culmination of their hard work, a way to celebrate and showcase their talents, and they can come out and be a part of it. There's some who will travel, there's some who will start, their little Christmas jobs for a little extra Christmas money. There are different things, but if they can be a part of this, and as a community, we can come out and clap along, look with joy and glee at them, especially the young ones. It's good. It gives them that momentum.
It gives them that confidence to know that they're on the right track and they're moving in the right direction. And that's where the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Heritage, we intermingle, we intertwine. They're having all three of those means that essentially no one gets left behind. Yeah. Because we touch from young to old. And I can't say old, our aging population.
No, one man said to me, he said, listen, I'm old, and if I have luck, I'll get a little older. But we are.
So we start with our youth and we end with our heritage, and that gamut is what our focus should be on. Yeah,
and you guys do it well. I must share. You had a great minister before. Honorable Isaiah Rankin is another excellent, selection. You have a fantastic team, and
I want to speak on the team because there's a lot. I'm the events manager. However, I couldn't do any one of these events without our entire little 15-man team, or 15-woman, I should say.
Let's see if you want done right, get a woman, right?
Because literally, there's 3 men in the ministry, including the minister. It's a group of women. So and that's the thing. Everything we do, whether it's an event or a policy or something like that, we all have a hand in it because we all want to make sure that every facet.
There's ownership.
Yes.
I know when we take the break, you'll get back to your meeting. I thank you for just allowing us to celebrate and showcase the richness of our heritage. We do have a caller online.
Sure.
Let's join this caller as we speak to Miss Ventisha Conley. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dwayne.
Hey, how are you today, man?
Okay, Dwayne, and you?
Hey, thank God, man. I am truly wonderful. I don't say that in anything other than a strong sense of confidence, having been given the gift of seeing today.
Okay. That's right, Dwayne.
Thank you.
And good afternoon to you guys, too.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, speaking about Christmas time and spending time with family. Yeah, it's especially these days, some serious times. And my New Year's resolution is to spend more time with my family.
Good.
My children, my grandchildren, my mother, my sisters, nieces, nephews, and even my friends. Because it's very important that we spend as much time as we can together. Because like I said, there are some serious times coming ahead of us that we might be ended up separated. for no reason caused by us, but by others. As you can see with the war in Israel, those people, their greatest wish right now is to be with their family. And they don't know where their family members are, or if they're alive, or if they're dead. So we have a lot to be grateful for. And we have to spend as much time as we can with family. Family is very important in your life. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome, and it is true. One of our listeners on the Senti Show was asking earlier when you were referencing, just go back to the event quickly on Friday at 1 o'clock at the Cayman Collection Center. You referenced pictures for the Cayman Memory Wall. Someone was asking where to send the pictures of our people. But you did say you would have an announcement on that.
Yes, I'll do a press release to go out next week, which will give everyone the link to go to upload those photos.
Okay, and you send it to me, I'll send it to two of my contacts.
Of course, and it'll be posted on the ministry's website, www.gov.ky/YSCH. We'll have a link on there that people can go to.
Well, I'm looking forward to, and I'm prayerful that as a people we'll be truly, truly respectful, sensible, safe as we go about and enjoying ourselves. But what a wonderful day to end, this school term by, not just coming out on Saturday, but bringing our students and our schools and representing them with pride and hearing the Christmas carols.
Oh, I think the best part of Christmas for me is hearing the Christmas carols, and not just the newer ones, the older ones too that we've grown up on and kind of forgot. I was telling you earlier when we were off air about being a part of the Spot Bay community. One of the things we do for Christmas is we have a town square singspiration, and the elder in our community, Mr. Temple Tatum, is the song leader, and I have sung with that choir, and I've sung songs that are older than my godmother, who's in her 80s, and I don't know the tune of it, but I listen to him for a few seconds and I can pick it up. And every year he surprises me with bringing out another song that I never knew about.
Yeah. And this is where, as we look at our heritage, it's important to, given the technology we have now, to physically record it, video if we can, but we get it so that there's so many Cayman folk songs, but we choose sometimes. Maybe we don't think they're accessible. Maybe the people who are participating don't see the value. You don't miss the arena until there's a drought.
And Sterling, you are touching on so many things that our ministry is looking at to do. And so, like I said, we could have a conversation.
And we will,
about these things, yeah.
There's a fine gentleman that I admire and respect, love him like a brother. He reminds me that to be pro-Cayman, pro-Caymanian doesn't mean that you need to be anti-whatever. I have a friend, and sadly, life's past being what it is and how busy, we don't always get to interact. And I'll accept responsibility for that because I don't make time for me. But to see someone who's not from here, who's not born here, who's only been here, relatively speaking, a fraction of my lifetime, right? With a healthy love and respect for Cayman and an appreciation for Cayman makes me understand why I love it so. And to see my country, she sees it through her lens, right? It's amazing. And when people who come here celebrate, enjoy, they accept the invitation, it's not about acclimation and integration. It's about building a societal fabric that pays homage to who we are.
Yes.
That what makes us truly strong. That's what builds the safety. That's what cements the fabric. And I think, in all due respect to all the other districts on Grand Cayman, I like what you shared about the Bragg and your Spot Bay community. That's what we see in East End. That's what's so spectacular about that,
And I mean, someone asked me, if I could say which district has the most culture and heritage in one. And I said to them, I can't, because each district has their own niche. They have their own way of showing that culture and heritage and history. You just need to be open to seeing it.
You gotta be willing to embrace it.
That's it.
Right? And even these stands, it's still relatively easy. My friend Obi, it's interesting. I liken it to one of my brothers where despite their professional training and education, they have a passion and they're doing this thing. If we embrace them, instead of saying, well, you should be doing this, why? Right? We only going to appreciate it 100 years from now. Mm-hmm. Let's embrace it now. To Miss Mary and her team in Bordentown,
yes.
Right, with what they do, you don't need to look at it and see its importance in a century. See its value this second. Right? Yeah. And as you go, on Saturdays, then it's not the fried fish and fritters. It's not the fireworks. Those are just part and parcel. It's the fellowship.
Yes.
It's the people. It's the recognition that at Christmas you're gonna see a joy in people, even when they just left Health City because there's a family member there. I understand that. I honestly understand that. But they remember the time. They have that cherished memory.
Yes.
And then when they look at those young faces and see the glee in their eyes, you know what? That's what Cayman is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it needs to be.
And that's what we're getting back to.
You know what? We will.
Yeah.
I mightn't grow my hair back, but we'll get there. I always appreciate your company, Mom. You leave me with a greater sense of pride in our country, a desire to work harder, to be even more conscious and deliberate in doing things that are positive and productive. And I hope that all of us will see that sense of humility. And as we look about it, it's not a paycheck. I mean, that's good, but it's the reward.
It is. It is very much so. Coming from the background that I've come from, especially with our youth, the reward is seeing their faces light up and the confidence that grows in their eyes.
Yeah.
So, sitting down and speaking to my elders, and I love to, because I've built what I call an old lady gang in here in Grand Cayman.
You guys are rolling up.
Hey,
I'll behave.
I love to sit and talk with them, and not even talk, but just sit and listen to them and their conversations and the memories that they share. Mm-hmm. It is so spectacular to do and to be a part of, and to know that when I see them out in just the general public, they embrace me as one of their own.
So that means you realize that for them to adopt you like that and invite you into that circle, that says a lot about you.
It does, but I mean, I love.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that just loves to make friends.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much. You have a standing invitation, in person preferably, but by phone if necessary, as you and the administrative team, to your chief officer and all the other 13 ladies and the 2 gentlemen, and even the tall minister. We can see him. You guys have a winning spirit, and we're glad to be able to help you. So Friday, 1 p.m. at the former car museum, the Cayman Collection Center.
Yes.
For its official opening.
Yes.
1 p.m. Cayman time sharp. 1 p.m. because that's the time And then Saturday, the East End Heritage Field.
6
for
p.m.
We got the choir competition, right?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Exciting. 6 o'clock.
Yes.
Fireworks at 9 by Lord Graham.
By Lord Graham.
Ms. Van Teacher, thank you very much. And with your permission, one of our listeners is asking, I'll take pictures of both of the flyers and just send them along to one of our listeners.
Please
That'd be fine.
Yeah.
I'll do just that.
And thank you for having me, Sterling. Thank you for anytime I message and say, can I come on?
No, thank you for reaching out. We're always honored to accommodate. It's done with the greatest of love and respect and sincerity. Thank you for, I wouldn't say indulging my company. Thank you for inspiring. Thank you for being, a cultural champion. All right.
My pleasure.
We're going to have another open line when we return. Mr. Carl, I think I need from you a song, my friend. Let it be. That's good. He looked at me like, what? All right, when we come back, more talk today. Stay tuned.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Santa says ho ho ho. Ho ho ho! Don't miss your chance to win big this holiday season with the Rubis Pure Joy promotion. Win $30,000 to pay your bills.
Merry Christmas!
Each time you top up your tank with $25 of fuel or merchandise from Jose's 24-hour food mart, you earn another stamp. Collect 6 stamps and you're entered to win a lot of awesome prizes. You could be the lucky winner of $30,000 to pay your 2024 bills. Don't forget to share the Christmas spirit with gift certificates your loved ones can use at Reflections, Liquor for Less, Hemp and Tobacco, Food for Less, or Jose's Rubis. Now open 24 hours a day to serve you.
Merry Christmas!
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
It's party season, which means it's pizza boat season. Aren't you tired of the same boring pizza? It's time to party. All aboard the pizza boat. Birthday parties, holiday functions, office luncheons, game nights. Whatever your occasion, bring the fun with Pizza Boat, a Cayman twist to pizza. Bringing fusion ingredients from all over the globe to give you locally inspired fresh pizzas. All day, every day. What's more, now you can enjoy a boat-shaped pizza with toppings of your choice. It's Pizza Boat in Queens Court on West Bay Road. Open daily from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and Fridays until 3 a.m. Pickup or delivery 949-0000 or get it online at www.pizzaboat.ky. Pizza Boat. Experience the ultimate pizza voyage.
Jingle all the way into the season of incredible savings and wish granting with Digicel. This Christmas, get 25% off your Prime Bundle plan or postpaid bill for the next 6 months. With plans featuring social data, entertainment data, and more, Digicel keeps you connected and entertained all season long. But here's the real magic. Digicel could make your Christmas wish come true. Win a prize of your choice, from getting your rent paid to a new laptop or even a brand new car. Visit a Digicel store today, where dreams come true this holiday season.
Ho, ho, ho! Hi, kids! Santa here, letting you know that I can't wait to see you all again at my grotto at Bayshore Mall. I'll be there with my friends from Kirk Freeport from Monday the 18th December until Friday 22nd. I'll be there between 3 and 7 p.m. every day, except Friday, where I will be there earlier between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. Along with sweet treats, Santa will have a special gift for every boy and girl, and there will be popcorn, cotton candy, and Christmas music filling the air. Merry Christmas! See you soon at Bayshore Mall. Love, Santa and everyone at Kirk Freeport.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. There's going to be some open line, and I believe one of the greatest things a person can do is to serve the interests of his or her nation. There are many who do so in the armed services, those who volunteer in other uniform branches, whether it's reservists or the like. And then there are many who see the honor and the privilege of being a public servant. And for some countries, that's the greatest honor. The attractiveness isn't just the pay or the other sort of, benefits that come. But those individuals are the best of the best. They go because they serve with pride. They see the honor in doing so. But to get in, they have to exhibit a great sense of not just passion, intellect, ability, attitude. You think of some nations, and I think to some of the European nations, but other countries as well. And then for some reason, we allow, things to be said in a very disparaging way about the public service. Just like, it's attributed to the saying by the English, those who can do and those who can't teach. Whether it was malicious or jovial, or whether it was, a considered comment that impacts how we see the teaching profession, we now recognize that it's done a great disservice, the attractiveness to the profession, but also the respect that it deserves. How can the next generation be so properly instructed if the people there aren't competent and committed? So if we look at our own public service, are we attracting and retaining the best and the brightest, and it isn't the pay or otherwise that keeps them there or brings them in the first place? Or B, is it as someone said, well, if you can't work anywhere else, you work with government? I'm glad that we have a team of individuals across the public sector who continue to inspire others to excellence, who continue to serve with a sense of sacrifice and willingness, and who consciously know that should they leave this public service, they can, because of their access, their education, experience, and expertise, they can earn a lot more money, and some do, and that's okay. Sadly, there are many, like in many places, we're free riders. We will benefit without doing, very little. We're happy to, just go along, get along. We don't contribute. Well, maybe there'll be a renewed ethos. One that's inculcated and reminds us of the importance of excellence. We're glad to know that I have many that, you look in my sort of circle of influence that inspires me to do just that, to always raise the bar. Well, maybe one of the things we'll consider as we continue to celebrate our Christmas, to see the importance of community. So Friday afternoon, 1 p.m. at the Keman Collection Center, the former car museum, maybe you join the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Heritage for its opening. And then, like you did last year at West Bay, this year it goes to East End at the East End Heritage Field at 6 p.m. You will, be a part of the choir competition. Well, good way to showcase the choral talents of men in our community, and also a good way to be able to maybe celebrate and appreciate and understand and recognize. So 949-8037, 949-6990. You can WhatsApp 925-3261. It can be a call. It can be a voice note. It can be a message. But if you want to get on there and you call the WhatsApp, you dial it using that app, 925-3261. At about 21 minutes to the 2 p.m. headline news, it's going to be open line. Maybe it's that sense of excitement as to what the weekend will bring and what will be ushering as we get into the Christmas with school closing as of Friday. I, to be honest with you, hopefully it's not my brain, moving forward in a very speeded and hurried way. I got to remind myself, today's Wednesday, right, Mr. Carl? It's not Thursday, and it certainly feels like a Friday. But it's a Wednesday. And that means that come Friday, you got one more day this week to join Mr. Art Friday morning as he'll, close off the program and take that well-deserved and earned rest. I'll do the same for a couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to it. Always believe that Christmas and this time of year is such that that's what we should be doing. But I want to hear from you. 949-8037, 949-6990. I want to say thanks to our good friends over at Reflections for giving us a couple of gift certificates to be able to give away to our listeners, and we'll do that, today and tomorrow and Friday, and may even be have one or two extended into the coming weeks, just as a way to showcase the good corporate citizenry, to way to give to the community, a way to say thanks, a way to show appreciation and love, and to, for some, maybe that thing that just helps them to get something. So, they've always been so gracious, and not just with the advertising here really came on, but with their willingness to say thanks. So whether they use it across any of their business lines, whether it's the Liquor for Less or the Reflections or the Hemp Store, it's encouraging to see entrepreneurs excel, and through their continued endeavors, it may inspire other young people and young at heart to pursue similar interests, whether it's for profit or whether it's to be motivated to do something on a charitable, sort of benevolent manner. But what is on your mind? I recognize that for some of us, we may not, until it's on the eve of election, engage in the political banter during Christmas. But it's always about politicking, as I'm reminded. But what is it about our political landscape that you want to talk about? Have you been able to follow the proceedings of our parliament? I had an individual share a thought, and then it was similarly relayed by someone else, and then a third person. I go, I recognize all three. All discussions were independent of each other, but they had sort of a resounding chorus. And I asked one of the three, why don't you come sit, have a chat? Someone like you, although we don't get the opportunity to see you in a sort of the public setting in terms of radio and similar interviews, without question, you'll be easily recognized, and maybe what you say might cause other people to reflect on it. Well, without quoting anyone, and with paraphrasing all of them, their thoughts were, as they listened, one, he said, I wanted to listen to every word that was broadcast. I didn't get to do it when it was live, but I did. And he said he struggled. And he wondered, is that him or is it them? Is it the politicalness of the discussion? As expected, it is coming from the Legislative Assembly, after all, he said. And then he shared, but if he's struggling, he wants to know who else is. And as he listened, it's what inspired me to say, one parliamentarian will get up and lament about something. Maybe he'll compliment the government for its endeavors, and maybe castigate. But he shared, as we talked about, the pace of development and the need for added revenue in order to meet what seemingly is the increasing demands of the society for housing and health, and for education, and for, take his phrase, social services, those things that the community may find itself in greater need because of economic hardships, unemployment, underemployment, the increased cost of living, and the like. But he shared, if one government, whether 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or whether 2 years ago, did something, he says an example, gave a concession, perhaps delayed or the collection of something, or perhaps even passed a measure that wrote off certain debts. But if so doing, would that affect the government of the day doing something? Even if it was done some years ago, would it affect future governments if those revenue streams were no longer accessible? And increasingly, will governments find itself hard-pressed for sufficient funds in order to do some of the things that it wants to do, capital projects and the like? Will they have to borrow more? Will they have to increase taxes? Will there be growing needs because of the hardships of members of the community? If a government, and he said, perhaps the way we've either interpreted, applied, or otherwise assume it's to work, or maybe it's just the forcefulness, assertiveness of some. If in our public education system, there are students there who are not Caymanian, who are going to school on a free lunch and a free ride, no fees, great, we are educating our people. But is that at the expense of other Caymanians? Have Caymanians in the public school system been displaced? They're furloughed, they are at home waiting for a space, and they can't get a space in there because, that space is occupied by non-Caymanians. Is that right? Does that mean that we have insufficient spaces, or have we not prioritized our own people? And if it's that way now, at these formative years, primary, secondary, and the like of our education, what is happening in the working environment? What about access to other things? Now, he being who I perceive him to be, relatively soft-spoken, someone who rarely, if ever, heard, being cantankerous or the like, just asking questions and sharing. And to what extent, when we hear someone like that make comments, would we pay attention? Is it too late to be addressed? Have we ignored it for too long? What's the consequence? So you may want to share with that. Certainly we want to invite you. But if you want to come and sing along, literally, hey, let's do so. 949-8037, 949-6990. You can WhatsApp 925-32621. We're going to pause and take a break. When we return, I invite you to share your thoughts with us. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Are you planning a social, an office party, or event over the holiday season? Make the most of your holiday party and leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway Box to Go with the option of a 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. Cater your holiday parties with Subway. Visit subway.ky for menu options. Subway, eat fresh.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old girl.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Brand Source Home Gallery is having a huge sale on all brands of kitchen and laundry appliances just in time for Christmas. Shop the month of December and save. Get 15% off ice makers and 20% off wine coolers and beverage centers. Spend $4,000 or more and receive bigger discounts for every $1,000 spent. You could receive up to 20% off. Save big on all kitchen appliances, including laundry, on all brands. Visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive in Industrial Park or call 623-5000.
Happy holidays and Merry Christmas. 'Tis the season to be merry and healthy in the Cayman Islands. At Doctors Hospital and Integra Healthcare, we're not just a hospital and clinic with a talented group of local and international healthcare professionals. We're your partners in well-being throughout the year. So may your holidays be filled with the soothing sounds of the ocean, the embrace of good health, and a commitment to a healthier tomorrow. From all of us at Doctors Hospital and Integra Healthcare, we wish you and your loved ones happy holidays and a wonderful new year.
Jingle all the way into the season of incredible savings and wish granting with Digicel. This Christmas, get 25% off your Prime Bundle plan or postpaid bill for the next 6 months. With plans featuring social data, entertainment data, and more, Digicel keeps you connected and entertained all season long. But here's the real magic. Digicel could make your Christmas wish come true. Win a prize of your choice, from getting your rent paid to a new laptop or even a brand new car. Visit a Digicel store today, where dreams come true this holiday season.
'Tis the season at Vigoro, and we've got all your festive favorites. From Christmas ornaments to decorations, succulents to ceramics. We've got gifts and more. Blooms, orchids, mobiles, garden accessories, furniture, even fairy gardens for the little ones. Make it a Vigoro Christmas with a gift that will be treasured forever. Both garden centers will be open on Christmas Eve till 5 p.m. Merry Christmas from Vigoro.
Attention Cayman Brac, Water Authority is moving. On Friday, 15th December, the authority will relocate its customer service office to the Avistar building on West Side Road to better serve you. Visit us at our new spacious location on Friday, 15th December.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. 949-8037, 949-6990. as you're out and about enjoying yourselves, be safe, be attentive, and certainly move about with a plan and a purpose. What is it they say? If you don't know where you're going, in a road will take you there. But then again, when you get there, but you know where you are. Life, they say, reminds us that, life is about the journey. Sometimes, we look too much at where we are. All right, let's take this WhatsApp call. Welcome. Thanks for sharing. Hello. How are you today?
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon. How are you today, man?
Good. Not doing bad at all.
Good to hear from you, man. And I hope you're enjoying it where you are. It is, almost as good as where you would like to be.
Oh, I think I would prefer to be on the beautiful 7 Mile Beach right now.
Well, I can hear you, man. I preferably probably want to be.
No place like home.
No place like home, man. But thank you for sharing
your
your thoughts
thoughts. The
with us.
best place in the world.
Thank you for sharing that, man. It is that, but I don't know that we respect it, appreciate it, do what we can to protect it, preserve it in our promotion. I think sometimes we somehow conflate progress, with physical development.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I mean, when you move overseas and you see all the happenings and the differences, and you realize that Cayman is definitely special. It's the place to be. I mean, it's good to come overseas and tour to see the sights and see a bit of the history of other places, but to live amongst it every day, I would prefer to come overseas and for a vacation, but I prefer to be home. Trust me.
No, you're right, and I think it's what causes many to appreciate where they are because they've got experience much elsewhere, right? It's one thing to, but I certainly want you to talk and chat and share as you wish. But as you sit, I'm inspired to ask. I wonder what is it about us in Cayman as Caymanians, not valuing, appreciating, and seeing what we have before us, and almost in equal, value. Why we allow others to disparage, disgrade, denigrate, disrespect, and discard what is Cayman and Caymanians? Like I don't get that.
I don't know. I don't know why we do that. I think once you travel a bit and then you can make a comparison and you see a stark difference. And if you kind of only stuck in Cayman and you don't get to see it, especially see firsthand. Not just what you see on the internet or the television, but to really be at ground level and walk with the people and talk, see the good, the bad, and you can compare it. And, then you can make a more sound decision and wouldn't allow people to come and disrespect your place.
And I want to share this too because it's not just about Caymanians, celebrating and sharing good things and being mistreated, right, for doing so. But there are people who some have been here for decades, and there's no question, at least in my interaction with them, that yes, they have a strong affinity for their country of birth, but they love this place. They want what is good and better for Cayman because they genuinely love it, right? But there's some who've not even been here decades. Let's put it in, nice easy numbers. And when those people champion Cayman and they do things to help, genuinely help, we collectively, but in particular other, if I might use the phrase foreign nationals, look at them and go, but why are you doing that? You're not from here. And they castigate them. I thought, but wait a minute. If you're a football player and you join a team, you were once loyal, player for one club, and then you've been, for whatever reason, transferred to another club. Aren't you going to play your heart out, your very best for that new club?
Yes, you want your club to win.
Yeah, I mean it's.
In some cases, you might not play as hard. You probably have a more connection to the first club that you were with.
Yeah.
You know,
But I mean,
kind of a tough one.
if that happens, right? Shouldn't your teammates, your manager, the fans, somewhere down the line, somebody gonna see that and gonna intervene. They gotta say something, right? And either you gonna cop the scratch or you're gonna be transferred. I mean, at least that's what I think. Is that what gonna happen? What you think?
I don't know about that.
I mean, we gotta allow a
Think about
saboteur.
that. Pardon me?
I say, would we allow a saboteur to be within our midst? Because if that's what happened, right? This great striker, no, better yet, this goalkeeper, right, playing for this club, and every shot, he saves. I mean, just remarkable. And another club makes an offer to I say, listen, we want your goalkeeper. If that goalkeeper doesn't come over and play as well, and any shot goes in, right? You think that goalkeeper will continue on our team?
Continue on the team.
All right, but the reason why I said is that if we don't learn to work, love, and value and respect where we are and what we have, and do it together. Ay. But you inspired me just by your tone. So talk to me. Let me listen. What path do you want us to traverse today?
It was last Friday. I was watching the online the interview with OC. Dr. Steve McPhail and
Mr. Roy, I think it was.
Roy Borden.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were talking about Mr. Ormond Panton. Yeah. At the end of that was a very interesting discussion, because throughout my trial, Dr. Roy was highly praised in the house. And I was wondering why it took so long for all this information to come out. Even the people in my family have been dead and gone, and still praising Dr. Roy. So I don't know why it how come the public doesn't know about all this that has happened, but I guess nothing's done before it's time. Towards the end of the discussion, what was it? Miss Teresa, she mentioned that the immigration department is fully Caymanian. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah, fully Caymanian.
Yeah.
And and basically, and Mr. Roy Borden said that we are fighting for the soul of the Caymanian people. So when I connect those two statements, that was done towards the end. What that was telling me is that it's like the immigration department holds the soul and the future of the Caymanian people. I mean, they're the one that are basically calling the most important shots for the country. So maybe the problem lies mostly with immigration, and that department needs to be rectified.
Yeah.
Based on what Mr. Risa and Mr. Roy Borden said we're fighting for the soul of the Caymanian people. And she's saying that the immigration department is run by purely Caymanians. They're the one that makes any decision. So,
but isn't Go on. I'm glad you referenced that.
Oh yeah, that was striking me. So what also shocked me too was the whole when Dr. Steve said that was a big lie. That was very shocking. I mean, a lot of people have, like I said, have gone on and they don't know the truth now.
But it's interesting, right?
That's what it is. It's a bit of history that needs to be told to the whole population, and I hope that the word gets out and they go to this this lecture. It sounds very, very important, especially like new politicians. They should go to something like this and sit in and listen. Anyone who wants to be running for politics and listen in, and they can prepare themselves better for 2025, I think it is.
Yes. Well, as it is now, we expected the general election will be April 2025.
Okay.
Yeah. But to your point, right? How is it that so many times things in history, or just in general, they're repeated and they become accepted, whether they're accurate or not, right? And is it as the U.S. President Reagan used to say to the then U.S. President Gorbachev, or what he would say, trust but verify, dobanaya no probanaya, right? Are we even... Anyway, the mind is a terrible thing to waste. That PSA in the US used to remind us. We seem to have been wasting it so much recently, but... All right. So we go, right?
Yeah.
All right, we got the news in a second as soon as he tells me, but your call is always, as is everybody else, is important. Do you want to continue to chat with us, or you want to catch us another time?
I have another thought, but if you don't get too busy today, I'll probably call back.
No, call right back, man. I mean, and I'm looking across the table and I keep thinking, man, this is about talking to people, listening to what they share. So don't forget that thought. And if you want to hang on, just let us know. All right?
Yeah, I will.
Thank you. Let's pause and then we will join our caller. Let's hear what our news headlines is up about. Stay tuned.
Radio Cayman, the voice, the heart, the soul of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The RCIPS warned the public to be wary of credit and debit card scams. Of primary concern are those circumstances where only the card details, not the physical card, are taken. RCIPS are also concerned by international fraudsters targeting businesses in the Cayman Islands through the use of business email compromise or BEC frauds. Anyone who believes they may be a victim of a financial crime is asked to contact the Financial Crime Investigation Unit at rcips.fcu@rcips.ky or call 949-8797. In international news, the U.S. Supreme Court announced it will consider a case that could limit access to a key abortion drug. It is the most significant reproductive rights case in the U.S. since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, which guaranteed women a right to an abortion. Tesla is recalling more than 2 million cars after the U.S. regulator found its driver assistance system, Autopilot, was partly defective. It follows a 2-year investigation into crashes which occurred when the tech was in use. The recall applies to almost every Tesla sold in the U.S. since the Autopilot feature was launched in 2015. Tesla, owned by billionaire Elon Musk, said it would send a software update over the air to fix the issue. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And fantastic gentleman. Let's see if you were able to. Are you still there, sir?
Yes, still here.
Thank you, man. Thank you for. I know the time differential, so I appreciate it. But you said you had another thought, and I must share. Every time you contribute, it makes me at least, reflect and think of certain things. So thanks for taking time to share with us.
Oh, but I have to confess, I'm not much of a football fan.
Well, now that you want us to all be truthful, my friends are probably saying, okay, you need to confess that you really not a good football player either. Okay, but all right, confession's over now. No, I love football. It's one of the best sports. Yeah. And I use it often, and all right, we can talk about food and anything else, man. But you had that other thought that you wanted to share with us.
Yeah, so something that was said probably about a month ago. I think gentleman that called was Mr. Hurlston.
Mm-hmm.
He mentioned something about freedom of religion.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He spoke to you about freedom of religion.
Yeah, he has in the past.
That's one of the things I have observed over here in the UK that freedom of religion, having that in your constitution is a dangerous thing. This is from me just being an observer and looking at the society and watching the news.
Okay.
It kind of gives people the the past to override the laws of the land and the constitution and do as their religion dictates. And that's what I'm observing over here. And I think that might need to be rephrased or rectified, even across the world. It's becoming very disruptive, and it's creating a lot of friction because the government is telling you have freedom of religion, but when you practice your religion, then it goes against the laws of the land, you know? So some practices of the religion.
Well, it's
especially a specific religion that's, you know, very very loud.
Yeah.
So I think that the powers that be, if anybody's listened, you take a serious look at freedom of religion, because that could ruin your society, and that ties in with multiculturalism too, because when you have Cayman is such a small place, and then you have another 100 cultures come in, it will just swallow you. It just swallow you. And even over here, I'm seeing some of it happening over here, you know.
Yeah.
So,
well,
to me, yeah, go ahead.
No, you're right. As I listen to you, I mean, that will potentially be a very dividing issue that may be debated heavily in parliaments. As you shared that, I'm thinking to France, but also to the UK, relative to what their countries are saying about the public dress of certain people, you know, as they practice their religion. Maybe just drawing on casual conversations when Cayman was looking at its now constitution and freedom of religion was put in there. One or two people, I believe it's fair to say, were of the view that they were assuming, you know, Christianity, not understanding religion would apply to all recognized religious practices and beliefs, right? If I take the first comment and extend it to a practice in Cayman now that seemingly is justified. A few years ago, we heard people on the public show call and question why are people riding their bicycles, walking the streets, in vehicles, not just at the back of trucks, but in the vehicles, with these coverings over their head and face, right? And some would say, well, they're working outside and it's hot, you know, they're trying to protect their skin, their eyes, and what have you. Banks, in particular, put up, probably at great expense and time, posters. When you enter, take off your hat and this, your sunglasses, and that, and the next thing, right? Then we had this global imprisonment for otherwise healthy, law-abiding, civilized people under the threat of probably death in some places. It would seem like that you couldn't go anywhere unless you were masked up like you were an astronaut, right? And I say that to be deliberate, because we've gone from one extreme to another without any sensible explanation and no confidence and no courage to question some of the stupidity, right? Trust but verify. We're not even questioning the obviously ignorance. Now, back to your comment with immigration. We see the UK saying just the other day that it's looking at, was it as of April next year? If you're a UK citizen in partnership with a foreign national, there's a certain income level that you have to maintain in order to remain in the country and the like, right?
Yeah, I saw that.
We see France, I think, the fellow that they got at their political helm, you know, having a little bit of an issue in his parliament relative to his proposed Interior Secretary's immigration bill. All right. So many countries are grappling with what to do with immigration. We look at Sweden and some of the other countries and their challenges relative to what the media has termed as immigrants, from the knifings and the other issues of crime, you know, to the changed and growing costs to the governments in relation to education and the like, to the instruction. Challenges. How do we respond? So when people, you know, speak as if it's a Cayman thing, or Caymanians being this, that, and the other that's disparaging, are they themselves not ignorant of everything, or do they play us all for fools?
think they're very they don't know what's going on really themselves. They need they need to watch what's going on around the world and understand the history of things, and get into it before they make some stupid remarks or something like that.
Well, that may be the case, but is that forgivable? But what if it's not? What if it's malicious? What if we are on the other end accepting of the stupidity, unwilling to question it, right? And
if we are accepting of the stupidity.
Yeah, but when somebody says something, that Caymanians being, that's what they be bad about, xenophobic, right? You exhibit a sense of national pride.
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
And yet their country of origin, for instance, or the world nations, like, members of the G7 are saying, boy, we got an issue here. We got to look at this. Now, understand, I hope I say this clearly, my love and respect, admiration from people from all lands, man, I just love it. Have consciously remained in Cayman for 4+ years, and it's as if I take a vacation every day because I have friends from everywhere. I get to, to enjoy their foods. I get to interact with them. I don't have to leave, and yet I take a vacation, right? But it doesn't mean that I like Cayman less, or that I gonna allow somebody to disrespect Cayman, including Caymanians. Or I'm gonna ask people when they say Cayman, but they're not pronouncing it like how I think and was taught and understand that it should be said, that I shouldn't correct them. Because if they don't know, how will they know? If your name is Mike and I call you Peter, right?
Right, you could correct them and correct them nicely,
exactly.
And politely.
Yeah, and yet there are some people who will want to take, what do people say? They smell their rank. They won't get in your face because, they don't want to show their deference to you. In fact, they won't be open and disrespectful. Those people need a little bit of, added correction. But that's what I say. Yeah, man.
You just got that there a little bit, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead, man. Go ahead. I very much appreciate it. You share before we take the other calls, but go right ahead, man, because you always inspire people to share their thoughts.
What was it? What topic was I on again?
One of our listeners are saying that they have a chat.
Yeah. I think basically that's all I want to say.
Yeah,
that
man.
we need to be mindful of encouraging multiculturalism in the society. Because this is what I want to say. I remember now. Sorry. All right, here we are trying to protect Cayman's culture and heritage, right? But we have to be very careful when we invite multiculturalism. Like I said, it could swallow us up and override the whole thing, and then Cayman culture and heritage would get lost because the population is 75% of non-Caymanians. So we need to tread off. I hear a lot of people talking about, Cayman is a multicultural society. From my experience over here, I don't necessarily think that's a good thing. You have to be very careful of that, because people don't just keep culture inside their bedroom. They want to go out and spread it. Yeah. And then when they begin to spread it, then they want to stay in their own groups, you see.
Yeah.
Then from their own groups, they want representation in Parliament. I'm just telling you what I see over here.
Yeah, man.
They want to represent it in Parliament, and then it's a takeover. So just be very careful how much whoever thinks that multiculturalism is a good thing.
Let me ask you to reflect on this, right? And you can answer now. You can revisit it and add to it, change your answer. In that notion of multiculturalism, as you shared, now I like being in the company of people from different places because I get to learn, I get to experience, I get to engage, right? But in the Cayman context and the Cayman context only, when we talk about multiculturalism, are we saying that we're going to promote Caymanianness and the Caymanianisms and the Caymanian ethos, and as we embrace and accept and invite and include others, but that has to be prominent? Or are we saying, either by design or by default, that one or two others may become dominant, celebrated, but only those and not these. You follow me? My best diplomacy.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
So give it a thought, because if it is the latter, then I'll be at risk. Listen to some of the comments that are being made by some, and you have to look at them and go, why are you saying that? What's the consequence of that being said? What would happen if that becomes, the norm? If it's the former, where it's about embracing Cayman, our history, our heritage, as we celebrate, invite, and we share, then we can still, enjoy our friendships and fellowship with other people. But if in Cayman, we're making it front and center, or if it is that the Caymanianness is relegated because this one or that one is now celebrated, but not not this or that. Give it some thought. We'll talk about it again.
Yeah,
later.
I
All
think
right?
we'll give some thought. Yeah,
Please, man.
Definitely.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy the rest of
But
your
just
Wednesday.
have to throw that out there so people know what's going on, and
Yeah, man.
like I say, think about it. So yeah.
All right. Well, be well, man. Enjoy the weather. All right. Yep. I'll do that for you. Thanks, man. Thanks. All right. Let me see if I can look across the table and understand. Should we take the other call, sir? Is that what you're telling me? All right. Let's go to the phones. Hey, welcome. Thank you for holding on and sharing with us.
Hello?
Hi. How are you?
Hi, sorry. I thought there was another call before me. Let me put my window up here.
Okay. Well, while you put your window up, let me roll mine down.
My radio down.
No,
Sorry about that.
That's fine. I only take the calls that are put through, so I don't know if there's one before you or 10 after, or if there was no. So, but thank you for being you. Welcome.
Yes. Good afternoon, Dwayne. I didn't hear who the guests were. I just kind of tuned in. Can you tell me who the guests were?
Okay, we're not hearing you just then. I don't know if it's my end. The sound.
Sorry, is that better?
Oh, much better. Yes, thank you.
Yes, sorry, I had you on speaker.
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to hear who the guests were. I was just tuning in. Can you tell me who the guests were?
It was okay. Prior to that call, we had Miss Ventisha calling in the studio talking about an event on this Friday, 1:00, for the opening of the Cayman Collection Center at the former site of the Motor Museum, and then on Saturday, 6:00 at the East End Heritage Field. There's a celebration of music, culture, choir competition, the Cayman Christmas in East End. Then we had some open line, and the gentleman that just called, he didn't identify himself. He is calling. He was sharing his thoughts relative, to some of his observations.
Okay. So that was actually a caller.
That person was on the line. Yes.
Yes, I thought it was a guest, because I just wanted to touch briefly on his point about us having to be careful about what we have in the Constitution of freedom of religion and so forth.
Right.
And that he from his personal view is that needs to be changed, and from what I heard, he's saying it should be changed, I guess, internationally, and I guess he's coming from a place of religion, of being a religious person, and our country or islands being historically known as a.
No, I didn't get that from him, but of course, he referenced over here in the UK, so by that, I assume he's in the UK.
Okay.
So that was the only sort of public utterances that would give a point of reference, and I think his point was to what extent, that can impact the societal fabric, impacting its laws and its mores and the like.
Yes. Okay, I didn't realize he was. Like I said, I just can't.
No, that's fine.
The last, yeah.
That's fine.
So, I thought it was a guest, but what I wanted to say in regards to that is that I absolutely agree with him in the sense of Cayman's jurisdiction. However, I also wanted to say, as Cayman has grown, we have become so well known and on the international scale that we've had to upgrade and comply with international standards, which includes freedom of religion. The United States Constitution has it, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the Human Rights Act of the UK, all contains these types of of coverages, for lack of a better word. Right now, I get nervous when I get on the radio.
You do?
But
Me too. No.
I just wanted to say, that's
You're right.
the flip side of the coin that we have to look at too, because he's absolutely right, especially for our nation, which is one of the smallest nations in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I pretty much agree with him. I know where he was going indirectly,
right,
of what he didn't say, but we also have to make sure if we're growing and we want to continue being where we are and being taken seriously as a nation, we have to comply with international standards in our mother country, the UK.
So let me ask you, right, if I might, just two things, just based on what you just shared publicly. One, if we as a people want to ensure that we preserve some of the things that are uniquely us, as do many other countries wanting to do for their own, right? Being reflective and respective of who they are. The compliance, sometimes we're told and given mixed messages that we don't need to. We were told once by the UK that immigration was an internal issue. We could set our own things. Then we hear almost in the same utterance by people, we got to comply with this, that, and the next thing. So if we go back then to, say, two organizations, the WHO and the UN, right? They sound like great things, but, and again, I'm not going to profess to have any great knowledge of either one, right? Or any, heightened respect or disrespect. But if they're not elected bodies and their policies and promulgations are such that they impact the lives of people in an immediate way and not always positive, is that democracy? Let's say, for instance, as reported in the media, the UN has a vote. It has, as we're told, permanent members of its Security Council. One member can veto the vote, and the vote will fail. Even though if there were 15 people voting and 14 for and 1 against, well, it fails. I don't know where 14 beats 1. Maybe in government accounting, maybe in politics, I'm not sure. So is that democracy? And should there be, in the UN case, permanent members? Should it be rotating? I don't know. Why I'm saying that is that to what extent do we ensure that there is a semblance of respect and humanity, but fairness? And it isn't the person with the biggest gun or the biggest war chest or whatever who is able to bully its way through and get what it wants. We wouldn't accept that on the playground from the big child. Why do we accept it from the loudmouth?
Well, Dwayne, I think you kind of threw me for a loop there with all of that. What I will say in regards to Cayman, my personal opinion is that it is rightly so where you started off saying, on one hand we're saying, we have the ability and the freedom to do X, Y, Z, but on the other hand we say, we're under the UK, so we have to comply with X, Y, Z. My personal opinion is that, and I know Mr. Steve McField did say this on an episode of Mr. Connor's show, is that what we have in the Constitution is there, but we are still. I forgot the description of the process that he said it was, but that we still have enough power that we can change certain things. My opinion is that, and maybe I'm not understanding what you were saying properly, but my opinion for us here in Cayman is that no one wants to touch these things. Our forefathers who were politicians before these recent, I would say the last 20 years of, the last 15 years of politicians, they're not as indulged in human rights and social issues as our forefathers. For politicians was before this new type of politicking took arena in Cayman. And when we talk about freedom of religion, we've seen it happening already. That includes a vast variety of different That encompasses a vast variety of different areas when we talk about freedom of religion. I know the caller was, kind of under the umbrella of probably a strict area maybe, but from what I caught. But, Kate, what I'm aware of, and I'm not going to get too deep into this because I'm not a licensed attorney, but I have studied human rights. It's one of my favorite areas of the law. And we as a country, I will say this, we as a country are at a very pivotal point in our history where it's absolutely vital for us to start looking at our human rights.
So with that in mind, I don't want to take too much more of your time than you have to offer, but what would you do? What would you do if you were given the ultimate power? What if you were the parliamentarian? What if you were the consultant? What would you do to bring about just that? So as we pay attention to it, we look at our human rights, we look at the population, immigration, what would you do? What is it that we need to do, in your view?
Well, I myself have started trying to educate our people to get a copy of the Constitution, to start learning about the human rights of the Cayman Islands, the Constitution of the Cayman Islands, and therefore on to other documents. Now, the thing about that is, well, what I would do is I would implore all of our MPs, which, I mean, they've got enough on their hands, but I would start educating our people. Knowledge is power, and I implore not only Caymanians, but all of our permanent residents and long-term residents that come to our island about their basic human rights. I have started trying to do that. I think it's down to education. I think I know we have. I don't believe there is enough attention to human rights in the Cayman Islands compared to the vast growth of our islands. We see different nationalities coming in here, and they are having more. That's why we're not. I don't like this word, minority. Do not like that word.
Statistically, we're a smaller number.
Right, we're a smaller number. Yeah.
Okay, put it that way.
And I'm offended that whoever used that in the media used that to describe us. And if they're listening, they'll know who they are.
Yeah.
But I feel this is a very pivotal point in our history that we need to bring that to the forefront. I think our I know our MPs and our government in a whole, not just the MPs, but our government in a whole needs to give this attention, needs to start realizing that this is a very, very important issue to address, because immigration reform alone isn't going to cut it. Yeah. It's a good start, but it's not going to cut it.
But let me interject. As I listen to you, I see almost a conflict. In one hand, if I understand you correctly, we look at immigration, we understand the importance of ensuring that there's a Caymanianist and a Caymanian-centric approach, right? And then if we talk about human rights, our Bill of Rights and the rights afforded there too accrue to everybody in the Cayman Islands, no matter who they are, how long they've been, right? They're accorded.
There's no way around it. We can't get around it.
Right. So with that in mind, if I guess where I'm struggling to understand, are we talking about making sure that Caymanians in Cayman are given a level of access that should be accorded to them because they're in their mother's house? Or are we saying that all and sundry who are here, because of, quote unquote, the Bill of Rights and the human rights, they're now equal? I want to make sure I'm not misunderstanding you.
No. I hear where you're going, and you're absolutely right. The trick of it is, when we look at the Bill of Rights in our Constitution, is how do we get reform that will protect our people without breaching the rights of other nationals, right?
Right.
That's a trick. Other countries have done it. I had some examples that I can't come off my head.
That's fine. That's fine.
We see recently, I shared an article in the UK just recently last week, where the gentleman, I can't remember his name, if he's an MP or a minister, but he has made some reform that is very controversial right now. But when you look at it, we really need to. I don't know all the answers, and then some of the answers that I do have, I want to be careful about saying them.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
On the radio.
That's sensible.
But we have to look at international countries who are much larger than our nation, who have taken that step to preserve the right of their people while still adhering to any ratification that they may have done.
Right. But that's just it, right?
They're human rights organizations.
Yeah, they're large industrialized nations, huge populations, but they're putting their people first. Now, as I listen to you, I'm thinking that if we have a law, we have a Bill of Rights and human rights, that they accrue no matter what, because those are at least the very basics that people should have a certain level of freedom and protection within any country, right? But by the same token, it shouldn't be that difficult to reconcile the two, in that if, again, just listen to people who profess or are presented to be much more knowledgeable, who say, listen, you have an immigration law, there's a process called a work permit, you apply for it. It was clearly stated on it, I'm told at one point, this approval doesn't give you any right to citizenship or status or whichever.
Right.
Now, if that was the accepted policy and practice and expectation, when did that change and why, and who's deciding it? And that's
a very good question that I had.
Yeah, and if you give them permission to be, you have a work permit, that's permission to be somewhere to do something. If in that permission you hired to work for company A doing job 1, you can't even supposedly legally change and go to job 2 without notifying and getting approval, getting permission. And you certainly can't go to company B, right?
Yes.
And you're allowed to be in for X time. How can that translate just because you're there physically into anything other than? Now, there are so much wrong with it because we discriminate in so many ways without fully considering it. I think it comes down to a lack of will and a similar lack of courage. Well, maybe I'll become political, but go ahead. I see the time and I'm reminded of the time.
Yes, Dwayne, I want to say this, and as a Caymanian, a generational Caymanian on both sides, back to back to back, right? I want to say our people, our indigenous Native Caymanians need to get up to standard with the rest of the world like we're doing with everything else and start to speak up for ourselves. We need to speak up off social media, off outside of someone else's house. We need to get out and vocalize and verbalize what we want for our country. It's not going to change if we don't do that. And what is being banked on is the passiveness of our people.
Right.
We keep using that word, the passiveness of our people. People are coming here. Now, I'm all for human rights. I'm all for fairness, even with people who are not Caymanians. I have a lot of friends. I mean, my great-grandfather on my mother's side was a Jamaican, right? We have a variety of different nationals and cultures in our family. So I'm not against anyone or anything, but look at the size of our nation compared to other jurisdictions. Geographically, look at the size. And I think no government, I'm not pointing to this present government or the previous government. I am saying perhaps the governments of the last 15 to 20 years, I believe, and I don't know, I am only speaking from what I hear or see or read, that there's not enough attention to addressing these issues. There's attention to customs and border, there's attention to police, and there's attention to immigration, but not on a whole where it comes to, I mean, all of that encompasses human rights if people want to stop and pay attention. But that is not the one size of it all. When we hear this gentleman call and talk about freedom of religion, freedom of people. One of the major things people are concerned about here now also is same-sex relationships and so forth. Worldwide, for the most part, most countries have adopted same-sex. We all know someone who was a same-sex person when we were growing up. I'm sure you knew people. So that the same-sex isn't an issue for us. It's how it's handled.
Right.
You know, how it's demonstrated in our public
Yes.
and that sort of thing. So the human rights encompasses a vast variety of different topics, and I feel that our immediate past governments have not put enough attention on this, and this is a reason why our country is going, you know, off a little off the cliff, off the bluff edge, the tip. I heard in the Parliament this morning. You know, and we have to take it in the reins right now, because some of the reforms that they're doing, if you notice, I don't know if you paid attention, but lawsuits are becoming so prevalent in the Cayman Islands right now. I first saw this 15 years ago. Everybody is suing everybody else. You know, and this is where it's going to grow. And as people start to know their rights, you have the representatives coming from the Philippines to the Cayman Islands to represent their people. You know, to make sure their people are getting treated fairly here. Who's representing Cayman to make sure we're getting treated fairly? I mean, our government is doing what they're doing, but I'm talking in terms of human rights and liberties.
Well,
and civil rights.
Yeah, I think we're probably conflating something, but it's something that we should discuss. And as you shared, I'm thinking it's not just, you know, there are two things that come to mind as you talk about Cayman and speaking out. I think one, it's the recognition of and I'll use the word consciousness, the aggressiveness of some, even with a public voice, to superimpose.
No, we don't need no aggression.
No. Sorry, no. What I'm saying is there are two things I want to make sure. One, we're failing to recognize the aggression, the aggressiveness of some people, even with their public voice, in superimposing themselves because of their position or whatever on society and their views, their values, to promote that thing that benefits them, even when it goes against the Caymanian fabric and the Caymanian ethos. All right?
I see your point, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We don't take them in hand. Secondly, there are...
That I agree on.
many individuals of whom they're still foreign nationals. They have no desire to get Cayman status, right? Some who've had it for the longest time. Those individuals, right, irrespective of their immigration status, their love for Cayman, we need to draw alongside of them, celebrate with them, protect them when they speak about preserving and promoting Cayman and Caymanians and the like.
I agree, because we've historically had these people from the inception of our, you
know, we had a couple of callers or messages come in saying, you know, like what you're saying, looking across the board, and I'm like, boy, you know, we like you to continue talking, but you're way over time.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll catch up another time, Dwayne. Thank you very much.
Thank you too. And with the greatest, thank you so much. And with the greatest apology to my good friend across the board. I know the longer I talk, the more he got to stay and do work. But respectfully, it's his, like the team here, appreciation for our callers and the listeners and the value of having this semblance of democracy. So publicly, thank you, sir, for giving us the extra minute. Hopefully you won't get too much trouble for it. And to our listeners, tomorrow, former parliamentarian Mr. Elio Solomon has made time in his schedule. He'll come in and we'll talk about, who knows, you know, sort of looking forward to that continued discussion. Enjoy yourselves.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old girl.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Planning a holiday party this festive season? Drop into Reflections Liquor for Less and discover the incredible Price Better markdowns. Hundreds of fine from $99. Cases of ice cold below wholesale prices. Save $10 off liters of Absinthe.
Exclusively at Liquor for Less. Enjoy our big bubbly blowout sale for your New Year's Eve celebration. Fantastic manager specials on your favorite fizz. Prices so low, we can't say them